Hey guys, in the last video we learned about the different components of battery buggy. There is one more component which is the braking system, and we will learn about that more later. Before we start learning new things in this video, time to take our battery buggy for another test drive. Alright, that was a great test run. Now we're going to learn about the track, the scoring, and how the competition is conducted. All right, so we're going to take our battery buggy and take it out for an actual run in the competition. So let's first look at the track. The track is between 9 and 12 meters long. So it can be anywhere between 9 to 12 meters long. The event supervisor has to assign a target anywhere from that 9 to 12 meters from the starting point. All right, so our battery buggy has to be able to run that far. The other thing is that we will be measuring the speed of the battery buggy from about 0.5 meters from the start till about 8.5 meters. So basically, there'll be two lasers, one over here and one over here, that will measure what is called as the run time for the battery buggy. All right. Now, the other thing we need to note is that when you want to start the battery buggy, it can only be started by using a pencil. So you can't touch it with your hands, you just start it with the pencil. All right, so in this case, they've set up the target at 10.5 meters. So are you ready to take out the run? All right, let's go. Let's see if our battery buggy is able to stop at the target. Oh, looks like the battery buggy went a little bit beyond the target. It actually stopped at about 11.5 meters, so it exceeded by 100 centimeters. And now let's look at the speed. Let's look at what was the run time. Okay, that's not bad. We had a run time of 10 seconds. So within 10 seconds, it was able to cover a distance of this 8 meters. Let's look how this is going to all go into our scoring. So the run time, which was 10 seconds, contributes to 10 points right there. Then the distance score, which is going to be derived from how far the battery buggy stopped. And remember, we always calculate the distance from the dowel. That's the purpose of the dowel. That's what they use. So in this case, we were at 100 centimeters. So that's 2 times 100 centimeters. That's 200 points. We're not going to bother about the bonus and the penalties for now. And the total run score is 210 points in this case. All right, let's look at a second run. The second run hopefully will be slightly better. Again, the target for the second run is the same. That's 10.5 meters. We're going to use the pencil one more time, push the start button, and off it goes. All right, looks like we may have done a little bit better as far as the braking system. So let's see, where did we stop? Okay, we stopped at 11 meters. So our distance score is going to be derived from this 50 centimeters. Let's look at our run time. All right, the run time between this 0.5 and 8.5 meters as measured by the lasers came out to be 20 seconds. So now let's see what all this adds up to in the score. So the run time of 20 seconds is going to contribute to 20 points. Now the distance score in this case is going to be the 50 centimeters, which is the difference between where the dowel landed, ended up being compared to the target. That's 50 times 2, that's 100 points. And the total run score in this case is 120 points. Now, if you look at it, that's lower than score 1, and the lower score wins. So the second run was a better run, even though in this case the battery buggy run time was larger. It was able to come to a halt much closer to the target, and you can see that's what contributed to the winning points over here. So remember, in this contest, the lower score is what wins. Okay, all right, now let's look at some of the assignments for this week. Hopefully you've read all the rules for the battery buggy and you've highlighted all of the constraints for all of the parts. like the size and the shape of the vehicle, the material of construction, the source of power, how many batteries we can use, what should be the power of the battery, etc. Okay, and if you haven't done that, please go ahead and do that. Note it down in your folder. All right, the other thing I want you to do now is draw a rough model of the vehicle with proper dimensions. What's the length, what's the width, etc. And then I want you to think about some of the ideas for the construction material. What do you want to make the car out of? Do you want to use metal? Do you want to use wood or plastic? What do you think are some of the different construction materials that we want to consider? All right, so think about all of these different design constraints and try to draw out a model. And if you can't draw it out completely, that's fine. At least draw out the chassis and the dimensions of the chassis and the wheels, etc. And then put down some thoughts in words on what sort of material you want to use. What are your research notes about the different types of motors, the RPM, torque, etc. All right, hopefully you enjoyed the animation in this video, and we'll meet next week to go ahead and start ordering some of the parts and building our battery buggy.